Hey, this is Stu Schaefer, and I'm about to explain how to reset your metabolism so you'll start burning fat like a furnace. Okay, let's dive right in. Well, what happens? What's the problem here? Well, normally when you're a woman, especially, and you're getting older, all of a sudden you may notice that you can't burn fat anymore or the weight's coming on. And most of the time, this is caused by something called RMS, which stands for Repressed Metabolic Syndrome. Now, all that means is your metabolism slows down, and now it's so easy to gain fat, but it's almost impossible for your body to burn fat. Now, this happened to one of my clients named Mary. Mary had done keto for 8 years. Now, she started to kind of get rid of seizures, but in the process, she started gaining weight. So she tried to go very low carb and did intermittent fasting for 8 years and totally destroyed her own metabolism. She definitely had RMS, or repressed metabolic syndrome, where anytime she would eat, she would gain fat so quickly. But even when she tried to exercise or restrict calories, that didn't work. It only made things worse. Well, in 12 weeks, Mary was able to lose 27 pounds of body fat, and she was eating more than she had ever eaten. She was eating carbs again and doing only about 30 minutes of activity each day, not very much. Now, I will tell you, it took Mary's body and metabolism 4 weeks to reset. In 4 weeks, she had only lost maybe 2 pounds or so. But then by the end of 12 weeks, 27. So it kicked into gear. And this is good news. This means you can reset and heal your metabolism. So how do you do that? Well, there's a couple ways. But first, if you've been a chronic dieter, or you've done low carb or fasting, the odds are you're going to have repressed metabolic syndrome, or RMS. And what happens is a combination of a few things. First, anytime you're restricting carbs or calories or dieting by pulling down what you eat, that will always cause your metabolism to go down. That's just one of the side effects. Our body is designed to do this for periods of famine or starvation. And this is what allows us to survive even if we can't eat very much. So that absolutely does happen. The other thing that happens, though, is if you're not eating enough or you cut carbs, you're not eating the right foods at the right time in the right combination, you switch your body, you start producing the incorrect chemical reactions in the body. Your body will start releasing the wrong hormones too much. This would include things like adrenaline, cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, insulin, and even the wrong enzymes like lipoprotein lipase, which essentially lock up your fat cells. It prevents you from actually being able to access and burn that stored body fat as fuel. Well, the other thing that it does is it makes your fat cells really sensitive. So when you eat, instead of fueling the muscles like you should be, that food that you're eating ends up going right into your fat cells, but then it gets stuck in there. Well, then when you go to exercise, your muscles haven't gotten the nutrients or the fuel that they need. And so when you do more exercise, you end up burning off muscle, but then every time you eat, you're storing that as fat. So this is why it's such a nasty, vicious cycle. So what do you do about it? Well, there's a few ways to fix this. The first is you gotta eat enough. Now, look, I've been doing this for almost 24 years, okay? And I will tell you, in the 24 years I've worked with women over 50, I have never once told a woman that she was eating too many calories or too much. Opposite is what's true. I always end up telling women, you got to eat more, you're not eating enough. And this is a big problem. Well, how do you know how much to eat? Well, it's based on your height, your weight, your gender, your age, your body fat, your lean mass, if you have any thyroid conditions or other things going on. But I will tell you, just as a ballpark figure, now, every time I have told women in the past, they'll be eating this amount and they'll go right up to this amount and they'll gain weight. You can't go from here to here. You have to do it in the right way. You have to be applying the food quadrant, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But if you just say, well, Stu said to do this and I've been doing this, and you increase this massive increase in calories, of course you're going to gain weight. You have to do it slowly, and you have to do it the correct way, which is what makes this so hard to do on your own. But a typical woman, somewhere in the realm of weighing, I don't know, 130 pounds, maybe 5'6" or something like that, should be able to eat somewhere around 1,800 to 2,000 calories. Now, if that sounds like a lot, it is. But if you do it correctly, you not only won't gain weight, you'll burn off body fat. The problem is people say, oh, I need to eat more. So they don't do the right food at the right time in the right combination. They just eat more calories and then they do gain weight. And that's why I don't recommend to focus on calories. In fact, that's the worst way to lose weight. I have a video I made all about why you shouldn't restrict calories for weight loss. I'll put it up here. There's so many better ways, which leads me to my next point. You've got to learn and understand the food quadrant. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments about, well, what are the exact combinations I should be eating and how much and all this stuff. Well, it's so individualized that I can't just tell you on a video, hey, you need to eat this combination of foods at this time and in this amount, because I don't know you. I don't know what your body fat percentage is, or how old you are, or what your activity level is, what you've been eating right now, if you've damaged your body, if you have food sensitivities or autoimmune conditions or thyroid issues. I don't know any of that. Those are all required to understand exactly how to apply this correctly. By the way, this is why most diets fail. It's just some book that someone wrote, barely has any sort of case studies anyway, and it's certainly not custom designed for anyone. So some people, maybe 20% of the population will get results on it, and the rest of the people don't. You need something that's custom for you. But here's how it goes. So you have a food quadrant right here. You have the amount of food, this is the calories. You have the food or what you're eating, the timing of foods throughout the day, and the combination of foods at each meal. Now, the combination of foods at each meal is the most important. That has the biggest impact, followed by the timing. So this right side of the food quadrant is probably 70-75% of the equation. But 99.9% of diets only focus on one or two of these pieces, how much you should eat or the foods you should eat, which is why diets don't work very well. You need to understand that different foods are going to have different chemical reactions in your body. When you combine foods, that'll have a different chemical reaction. And so the trick is you've got to get the right hormones and enzymes firing that will cause you to burn fat, not store fat, and then feed the muscles so that you can tone your muscles, speed up your metabolism, and burn fat. So this means you can eat enough and you're going to be fueling the muscle. Now remember, write this down. Muscle equals metabolism. So if you can tone and build muscle, that's going to speed up your metabolism as well. When you stop restricting calories, that's going to speed up your metabolism. Different foods, different chemical reactions. Let me give you some examples. You have three main types of foods. You've got proteins, you've got carbs, and you've got fats. Protein has the highest fat burning or thermogenic effect, which is why it always gets all the positive publicity. But carbs have the second highest. And carbs also help speed up your thyroid, which also speeds up your metabolism. So carbs have like a double metabolism building effect or fat burning effect. Now fats have very little fat burning or thermogenic effect on your body. But you do need fats for health, hormones, your endocrine system. But here is the key, and this is what not many people talk about. There's 5 different types of proteins. They all are going to react differently with your body. There's 16 different types of carbs. They're all going to interact differently with your body. And there's 10 different types of fats that we typically get in our nutrition. There's more than that, but there's 10 that we typically get in our nutrition. And they're all going to have different chemical reactions. And so the biggest problem is people don't talk about this, they don't know about this, so they'll say, well, I'm eating X amount of grams of protein per day. I'm eating X amount of carbs per day. I'm eating X amount of fat per day. But they don't know if it's is it the right kinds of proteins? Is it the right kinds of carbs? Is it at the right time? Is it distributed correctly? Are you combining these things in the right ratios at each meal? This makes a huge difference. This is where if you got this right, you wouldn't even have to cut calories and I've done this for 20 years. I'll have a client that comes to me eating 1,800 calories, not losing weight. They've tried to lose weight for 7 months, 7 years, you name it. We don't touch the calories. Instead, we just switch out these things and they start losing weight. I've had clients that have tried to lose weight for decades. We increase their calories and they start losing weight. How is that possible? So you got to focus more on just calories. The body is a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, now the last piece, how do you fix and reset your metabolism? You need the right prescription of exercise. You want to view exercise like a prescription. Too much is bad and too little is bad. You need the right amount. It's a sweet spot. And the biggest problem I see with women is they're doing too much exercise. They're doing too intense and too often and for too long. And it's just cranking out their stress in their body. They're overdoing it. Their body can't keep up with it. They're not eating enough to match that exercise. And a lot of times a woman will increase exercise as they go because it's like, okay, I'm losing weight. Well, now I stopped losing weight. Let me increase the exercise. Oh, I lost a little bit more, but now I stopped losing weight again. Let me increase the exercise. And it's a trap. You might start with one thing because you've damaged your body and you're going through a healing process. And then as you heal, you have to change the type or the amount of exercise as your body maybe becomes more resilient or you start activating these fat-burning hormones. This is so individualized, and it's just like a doctor seeing a patient, prescribing either a medication or some other protocol. It's prescribed for that patient. And a lot of people think that, weight loss and eating and exercise, that's different than medicine. It's not. That is medicine. It's the best type of medicine. And you need to approach it like that, where you're really seeking out someone who understands this and can individualize it for you. Okay, now on the next video, we're going to talk about thyroid. How do you fix your thyroid? So many women have low functioning thyroids now, or maybe you have something like Hashimoto's, which is completely different. That'll turn your whole world upside down. We're going to talk about how do you fix and heal your thyroid, which will also crank up your metabolism and cause you to start burning fat like crazy. It'll also kick in the anti-aging and make you look younger, hair, skin, nails, the whole thing. So next time, look out for the video. We'll splash it up on the end screen here, all about thyroid and fixing that. All right, we'll talk with you soon. Take care.